Evening, welcome to the Derby debrief from RamsTV, live from Pride Park Stadium. Owen Bradley with former Rams captain Shaun alongside. Derby County making the perfect start to the new year this afternoon. 4-0 winners over Accrington Stanley. It extends Derby's unbeaten run in the league to 11 games. It's another clean sheet, and it's seen Derby rise to 4th in the League One table. We'll get reaction from Paul Warne, the head coach, from Tom Barkhazen, who scored twice today as well. We're from Barks to get us started. You said on commentary, Shaun, it was the best you've seen Derby under the new head coach.
It was. From the first opening 5 minutes or so, I thought we were dominant in and out of possession. I thought we pressed well. We didn't let Accrington settle at all. We were dominant when we had the ball. Some of the forward play was scintillated in that first 45 minutes. The pass movement, the energy, the desire to go and support the forward players. And it was so important when you had Collins missing today that players got in and around Didsey and worked off his wonderful link-up play. And Barkhazen, as good as I've seen him, Knight was excellent. All those forward players, with the support of the midfield, were outstanding.
And more to come from Barks, but let's get you some reaction from downstairs. We've been talking to the head coach, Paul Warne.
Yeah, really pleased. I thought our play at times was pretty scintillating, the best we've played. The movement was really good. There's a real pace and drive about our play, but I was really pleased that, in the first 2 minutes, Conor Houlihan was in the 6-yard box. It showed a real intent of how we wanted to play, and I was always worried that when we warmed up it was really quiet, and respectfully there was the people who have passed on the stadium screen and the music was melancholy, and it all felt I was a bit worried that the game could be flat, but I warned the lads beforehand that we wanted a good start, and they definitely took it to them. So in that respect, really pleased on the back of other good results, so like 10 points in 4 games or whatever, which is more like it if we're going to finish where we want to finish. And there were some really good performances, and yeah, really pleased.
Scored some really good goals today as well, didn't you?
Yeah, and we missed some really good goals as well, didn't we? We did score really good goals. I thought, the one with Didsey right at the end, just before I took him off, I thought that was that would have been some moved goal, and there was some really good play. There was some really quick play and different ways to break teams down, but I thought the lads got the answers to the right questions today, so I'm really proud of them.
Tom Barkhazen gets a couple of goals. How pleased are you for him to get them? Because he's maybe not had the rewards that the efforts deserved over the last few weeks.
Yeah, really pleased for Tom, obviously. And he didn't start the last game, but unfortunately fortunately we've got some really good players, and they all, get a good crack at the team, hopefully. So I'm really pleased. You interviewed him. You interviewed him after. Okay, let him tell you what he thinks. But really pleased that he scored a brace. And yeah, it's reward for all the hard work he puts in. I think playing out wide for me is probably the worst position in the world. You have to get up there, you have to get back, you have to press, you have to tackle, you have to head it. So if the wide lads can get goals, they can go home feeling great.
2 wins and a draw over Christmas. I don't think anyone has bettered that. Maybe only one side in League One. It's been a really good week or two for you, and actually going even further back with the unbeaten run.
Yeah, thanks. Really pleased. I thought, I'm still disappointed we didn't win at Bolton, but them games away from home are always difficult. A point's better than nothing, and coming back-to-back games, I always feel like I'm always concerned that we play teams lower down in the league. People are going to turn up, players included, thinking, this will be okay. As long as I was saying to the lads today, there's a thin line between like a confidence and an arrogance. You've got to get the balance right, and I thought we did today. And if we play that well, move the ball that quickly, we should win a lot of games, and that's what we're all about.
The only negative in terms of the 90 minutes was Will Asula's red card. Any complaints?
No, I haven't seen it back, but at the time I thought it was a red card. In fairness, I thought we got away with it, but the fourth official seen it. The referee didn't see it from 10 yards away, but I presume it will all be part of his learning curve. As in, I think he got stood on and he just reacted, no shock that didn't see the first instance but see the second. But, he's a young lad, and I made mistakes when I played, so I can't be too critical. But, no one will be more disappointed about that than him.
And I said I had some numbers for you. We'll finish
Brilliant.
with those. 7 clean sheets in 11, only conceded 5 goals in that time, 4 clean sheets in a row. We talk about the goals today. but it's built on defensive platform, this, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and obviously if you can keep a clean sheet, you'll give yourself a right chance to win football games, but the clean sheet comes from everyone, and that, as good as Joe's been in goal, and he has, every time he's called upon he makes a save. Every team are going to have a shot, every team are going to have a corner, but the defensive attitude of the team is excellent, and I like the, Didsy pressing, Tom pressing, Dobbs pressing, Knighty was excellent, pressed everything, and they had protection with Birdie and Connor. So I think it's a collective effort from all the players who play a part, and that we've got really good at, hopefully, that defending set pieces, like they're really organised, and you've got to be aggressive. So the clean sheets excite me, but the goals go with that little bit more. So all in all, a good day at the office.
Certainly was. Happy New Year.
Thanks, mate. Happy New Year.
Paul Warne, a happy man tonight. Will bring you more reaction in a moment or two. I know I asked him there about the defensive record, but goal scoring as well. And there's lots you can pull out from this unbeaten run that Derby are on now. But if you look at the last 5 home league games, they've hit 4 goals 3 times, which is quite impressive. You don't see that very often.
No, and I think this afternoon was the most impressive in terms of the goals, the amount of times that they probably created chances and could have scored more. We scored for Forest Green, but I never felt like we were at full tilt. I never felt like that we were really testing ourselves enough and pushing ourselves enough, and I thought we did this afternoon. We're starting to see different players chipping in. I think McGoldrick's on 10, 11 goals this season. Barks has got another couple of goals, which is brilliant for him. So when you have players that are willing to get forward, I thought Harahan and Bird over the last couple of games have started to progress further up the pitch at times and picking times to go and support the attack. You've got players on there that can score, that have got quality, that can be that little bit of a difference in that final third. That comes with having a solid backline and a solid performance. We press relentlessly. We're landing on more second balls, so instantly you get the ball back and gain control of possession. And I just think there was a freedom today I don't think I've seen at the same level since Paul's taken over. There was a freedom to pass and move, to make forward runs, to have creative touches and try things out, and that just made the difference this afternoon. It's a wonderful performance.
Scoring early helps, and Derby were 2-0 up inside 15 minutes. The second in particular, Conor Harahan's goal, first under Paul Warne, finished off a really lovely move.
Yeah, well, I love the first. I thought the pass from McGoldrick was outstanding. Just a little reverse pass that Dobbin was making a forward run, and I thought in the first half our attacking players were willing to go behind the back line, which then stretched that pitch a little bit, and McGoldrick 2 or 3 times that first half just picked the right pass. Barks did everything he should do, got in the box, followed up on a little bit of luck from the ricochet. The second one was all about the passing and movement. A no-look pass from McGoldrick, Smith bombing forward, getting involved, Knight with a lovely pass. So there's some wonderful goals, some wonderful movement, but it just felt like the shackles were off a little bit, and the first 45 minutes, Accrington didn't have a chance.
McGoldrick got his goal for the third, which he deserved, and we can quibble about whether it's a little bit harsh on the awarding of the penalty. I will say Derby had a stonewall penalty second half that didn't go their way, so these things work out. But how different is McGoldrick? How important is he just to offer that little bit of invention to go with the aggression and the pace and the tempo that Derby have?
Well, he's often the missing link between that final pass or that player that can unlock a defence. He drops in different positions on the pitch. He finds that little gap between the midfielders and the defenders, and what he's got is an awareness when to turn the ball around the corner, when to have a touch. There was 3 or 4 moments in the first half of utter brilliance, and you could see he fancied it after the first few minutes. I think I mentioned it on commentary. He was up for doing something a little bit different. The no-look pass that started that second goal off was outstanding. But if you've got someone like Didsy, it reminds me a little bit of Chrissy Martin in terms of if the ball goes forwards, you have to support that play. You have to have runners. You have to have that energy and desire to go and support him. He can't do it on his own. He has to link his play with other players. And I thought that we did that in the first 45 minutes constantly. And I always felt that someone was running beyond, someone was joining in. Smith and Sibley were always involved in terms of driving forward. So if you have a player like him, you have to support him, you have to get around him. We did that, and that's where you get your joy. But he also has that little bit of creativity, that confidence to maybe have a clever touch or a cheeky touch at times, and when it comes off, it's wonderful.
I know he wasn't involved in the fourth goal that came 20 seconds into the second half and really snuffed out any chance that Accrington had. Not that I think they would have got back into it anyway. And Barkhuizen scored it, but is this the chance to praise Jason Knight, who made it, and who was your pick for man of the match today?
Well, there was probably 4 or 5 that could have easily got man of the match. I thought defensively, again, we were sound. Cash was outstanding. I thought the 2 midfielders, Bird and Harahan, were excellent. Bird was pretty much controlled that midfield. But when you're scoring so many goals and you look so free-flowing in that final third, it felt like it had to be an attacking player. For the first half, McGoldrick was outstanding. Obviously, you could have given it Barks with his 2 goals, and he looked like him at his best, full of energy, pace to get past players. But Knight just typifies, I think, what this manager wants. He kept it simple. He played quick 1-2s. He pressed constantly. He was always willing to do the unselfish thing. And then if you want a team performance and you want a team that are going to compete at the top of the league, you have to have those types of players. And I thought he typified the performance for me this afternoon. And as soon as he wins that ball, he had no other thought apart from giving it Barks and letting him have a tap in. So it was a brilliant performance from him and a great team performance.
It certainly was. A couple of minor issues just to finish on before we hear from Tom Barkhuizen. James Chester pulled out of the warm-up. We're not sure how severe that is. Curtis Davis, James Collins not involved today due to minor injuries. We're not expecting him to be out for long. But Will Asula sent off. He'd not been on the pitch very long. It's a pretty needless, pretty silly challenge, kick out that causes the red card. How disappointed, I mean, first, did you agree with the decision? But how disappointed were you for him, in him as well? Because he's not had a lot of opportunities over the last couple of months, really.
He hasn't, and maybe that's a little bit to do with it, a little bit of frustration. It could have been a penalty. I think the defender had his arms around him, and there's a little bit of a childish reaction to it as well. As soon as you kick out, there was no real aggression and it wasn't nasty, but you kick out in that sort of reaction and you've got every chance of getting a red card. I thought it was a red card. I thought it was just a silly one, a petulant one from him. Showed his kind of youthfulness in terms of not kind of keeping his emotions in check. So it'll be disappointing for him, but disappointing from the manager because he wants all his players fit and ready to go and to be part of this team. So he's got to learn from it. As a young boy that's still learning the game, we all make mistakes. You saw Collins get sent off for a reaction early in the season. He came back and you know, had the responsibility to step up and kind of help the team out. So that's just young Will Asula's responsibility now. And as you get older, you get a little bit more mature and you manage just about to keep yourself away from it, which McGoldrick had to in that first half because he got a little bit frustrated with some of the refereeing decisions.
Yeah, good point, actually. I wonder if next week would have been Will Asula's opportunity in the FA Cup. Let's not dwell on that. Let's focus on the good. Tom Barkhuizen with 2 goals today. He scored 4 this season. 3 have come against Accrington. Here he is.
Yeah, I think it's the perfect way to start the year. Yeah, I don't think you get much better than 4-0, and for myself, I've been due a goal, and thankfully I got 2. I probably could have had about 6, but I'll take 2 any day of the week.
And as you just said, you seem to enjoy scoring against Accrington in particular.
Yeah, I think, you know, when I was at Morecambe, I scored a couple against Aki, and obviously my 1 goal in the league this year was against Aki, so I was quietly confident coming into the game, and thankfully you won't get too many easier goals than the 2 I got today.
It was a great start from you and the team, wasn't it, today?
Yeah, I think both halves. We obviously got the early goal, and then you come in at half time 3-0 and you think, just don't take your foot off the gas, and straight from kick off you go and get another one. I don't think many teams have come back from 4-0. So yeah, just a really good start. We always pride ourselves on starting well, and you know, the last game we didn't start too well, and it was a tough game. I think when you do get an early goal and then we start to show how good we are, you know, we're a better team. So yeah, it's good stuff at the moment, and hope we can continue.
How important was it, given, you know, you had a good Christmas already with the draw at Bolton, the victory on Friday, that you made sure you sort of capped it off properly today?
Yeah, well, I think in general, just to get back-to-back wins, you know, we've been on a really good unbeaten run, but we have drawn quite a few games. We know that. We've drawn games that we should have won, and we've drawn games that, you know, we were maybe lucky to draw. But I think our form has been relatively good, and we just want to go up another gear because we're happy where we are, but we want more, and we want to hunt down the top 2, and that's the aim.
It's a long unbeaten run. It's a tremendous record in terms of goals against and clean sheets as well. Best defence in the division. But you all take pride in that, don't you?
Yeah, I think the gaffers come in and we've just been so hard to beat, and that's the foundation of a good run. We said we can go on a 20-game unbeaten streak, and at the time it sounds like a lot of games, but we're at 14 now, 14, 15, something like that. We don't look like we're going to concede a lot of goals, which is testament to our concentration levels, and the back line have been incredible. We've got 2 centre mids playing fullback. Fozzie's played fullback all his life, and he looks like he's played 800 games at centre half, and Cash is still only a young lad. But all 4 of them, you got to give them great credit, and Joe likes to take all the credit at the end. But he's not really had much to do, which is testament to the team. But I think especially the back 4, they've been really good over the last few weeks.
I know results and wins obviously help this, but it seems like such a happy group, just away from the football.
Yeah, I think that all comes from the top. The manager's very relaxed, very positive. Just tries to get across messages to everyone. He'll text you all the time and things like that. He's always, he doesn't just talk about football. He likes to get involved in your personal life and make sure everything's okay. And I think for me personally, that's a good foundation for a good relationship. And I think once you've got that, you go out on the pitch and you want to give everything for the boys and for the staff and for the club. And I don't think anyone can really dispute that. The lads who are going on the pitch, whether it's the subs or the starting 11, we're giving everything we've got, and hopefully that continues. There's no reason why it shouldn't continue. I said when I signed, let's try and do something special. And I think we've set the foundation for something special. So let's just keep our foot on the gas and see what we can do.
On today, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you guys.
Tom Barkhuizen there. Results from today and indeed from yesterday when there were big wins for Morecambe, who thrashed Burton Albion. Wycombe won at Peterborough to move into the playoff places, and the leaders Plymouth, I should say, continued their torrid run at the top of the table. Today, plenty of goals, plenty of red cards as well. Red cards for the home sides at Oakwell, Pride Park and at Sincil Bank, where Lincoln held Ipswich. Elsewhere, Bolton winning at Barnsley. Bit of a surprise there. And Sheffield Wednesday, 5-0 victory over Cambridge for them. Emphatic stuff at Hillsborough. Table then, Plymouth top and have a bit of a lead over Sheffield Wednesday, who've climbed above Ipswich. Derby are up to 4th. Bolton stay 5th, Barnsley drop to 6th in the table. At the other end, Accrington have just managed to stay above the bottom 4 after that big defeat for Burton yesterday. Morecambe's back-to-back wins have taken them off the bottom of the table and within a victory of getting out of the bottom 4. That's all from us for now. If you want more reaction to today's game, it'll be on the website for you, dcfc.co.uk. Have a happy new year. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.